Look, I already know what a lot of you guys are saying. OP, you haven't even done all the showcases. No, I haven't. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I will. And I'll probably just use these characters in future showcases because I'm just gonna be honest, man. The Madoka interest really isn't there. Every time I spend hours making a video on them, they really underperform for even a crossover that's not super popular. Like this one's interest on global is just non-existent. But we definitely will still talk about these characters. We'll bring them up in future tier list videos and of course, you know, any type of feature guides and all that. They're not necessarily terrible characters. It's just the popularity isn't there. And also my individual interest in this crossover isn't there. And I really don't want to force videos when I don't really care too much to begin with. So I wanted to at least do the tier list so we can talk about all of them and kind of give my final thoughts on everybody after watching a bunch of different clips, also seeing some stuff from the Japanese version, especially with like a lot of the new Nova Crest, or not Nova Crest, it's like the Extreme Nova or whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. Overall, everything from this crossover is really solid. So let's just jump right in and start breaking down everybody, starting with Madoka. Madoka herself, I kind of deemed as possibly the best character from this crossover on the initial review. After using her and after seeing her in a bunch of different stuff, I'm confidently gonna say I don't think she's necessarily the best, but she's definitely not the worst. Arguably, I would probably put her as the second best character from this entire crossover. Main reason is because if I want to use a character that is a flex unit, for an example, like somebody to just really round out the team, I would turn to Madoka in most cases. I do want to mention as well that I think this unit will have a huge presence once we start seeing even more support for light mono magic, because we already have a few light magic characters, but once we start seeing some crazy support come out for mono light magic, I could see Madoka possibly getting slotted in there. However, my issue with Madoka and mono light is that it is so cutthroat. Everybody in mono light is so freaking good, and it's so hard to slot in a character like this if pretty much all the bases are covered, if you get what I'm saying. If we had a 5th unit slot, which we don't need this, but you know, just speaking theoretically here, if we had a 5th unit slot, Madoka would be on the team 24/7, but we don't have 5 unit slots. I also want to mention too that I don't feel like this character can solo tank to an extent, like let's say a Shiro Emiya or a Beta. These characters, you put them on the team and they're able to kind of hold their own by themselves. But Madoka, on the other hand, can't really do that. And I think the main reason to it is the lack of defense slots. The fact that we don't even have a 4-star defense on this character is, I personally would have loved her to have a defense slot instead of the heal slot, just to kind of help out, you know, in those harder fights. Because without her defense slot, she literally needs someone else to be on the team with a defense slot, of course, to be able to support the team in any way. The best thing about Madoka, though, apart from just, you know, her damage mitigation and everything, is definitely the cleansing. The fact that she can cleanse all status effects, of course, except Fate, and you also can cleanse damage res debuffs is massive. So really the only thing this character is truly missing, in my opinion, is a defense slot, and I would say a bit more arch generation. But overall, man, this unit, very solid, very good. I'm going to put her as the second best character from the Madoka collab. Now, let's talk about the next character. Homura is the next one I want to talk about, which is probably my favorite character from this crossover. And it's not because this is the only character that I technically own apart from Tommo. It's not because of that. She's comes across as like this damage dealer that has really good slots, being able to be a bit of a team player as well, not just only doing some DPS. She's kind of useful, I'm not gonna lie. I used her a lot with Halloween Forte. Her and Halloween Forte are kind of insane together, but I won't deny the fact that she is just a DPS unit at the end of the day. And if we're talking like raw damage and everything, I really feel like Kiyoko kind of beats her out in terms of DPS. Maybe it's not the case because this unit of course has super crit and then plus like all the ramping attack and all that. So maybe it won't be so much as DPS, but more so what they're providing to the team. I know I shouldn't really start this by comparing these two units, but I kind of have to an extent. Kiyoko gives you arc gauge, Homura gives you a bit of equip CT while also just dealing tons of damage. Overall, this unit is really cool and I like her a lot, but I don't think this is a unit that's just gonna instantly carry your account all the way. I like to say this character is very similar to that of Uzu in my opinion, just because of the amount of increased damage she can get with her art stacking. But I also feel that I could make that same argument using someone like Kiyoko. So this character is probably... Do I want to say this before I do this? Yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to say Homura is unfortunately the worst character from this crossover, but number one in my eyes because Truck-kun will always have a place in my heart. Let's talk about the second unit I got, Tommo. I don't think she fits with what we currently have on Global. Some people may argue against me and say that she is perfectly fine, there's nothing really wrong with her, you can use her in a bunch of different things, and yeah, I think her kit alone is fine. Now, with this unit being out, and even though she is a newer character, I would still take Sanctus Platina every single day of the week over Tommo. Tommo is still a great breaker, but just that stacking break res down that Sanctus Platina does, it's kind of undefeated. But I will say, for someone that doesn't have Sanctus Platina, Tommo does work. She does exactly what she's supposed to do. She breaks enemies like no tomorrow. Not to mention her slots are pretty solid for being a breaker. I would say I would really take another physical slot over the magic. That's just me. I mean, there's still good break items out there for magic, but you know, I just love physical break items. And I know some people may get upset since I'm comparing so much in this tier list, unlike a lot of my other tier lists, but here's the thing. Every place that you can use Tommo, you could use Sanctus Platina. A cheaper investment than someone like Tommo. So yeah, not to mention another light character, and as I said with Madoka, it kind of still stands with Tommo here. She is having to fight for her life to get a slot on Mono Light because Mono Light is so jam-packed. I'm gonna be honest, man, I think that with this ranking and the next ranking I do, it's kind of interchangeable. It depends on like what you value more. If you value more DPS, if you value more break and stuff. So for me, I would put Tommo as the fourth unit in this crossover, especially because the third unit here is going to be Kiyoko. A straight DPS character that has really good slots, very good. I'm talking about an extremely good passive, giving you 50 art gauge every round, and being able to give herself tons of additional damage ups while also arch-genning for the team. Bunch of good stuff here. There's only one issue. She doesn't have the ratio passive. That is my only issue with Kiyoko. If she had the ratio passive, my lord, would this character be dummy broken. But even now, she's still very strong in terms of DPS. I also want to mention too is that her super art, being able to increase her own damage and attack based on how high her own HP is, if I'm not mistaken, since this is just her self buff, I think this would stack with, like, let's say a character like Sayaka. I think those buffs stack with each other. I have to actually check that in game to see, but if I'm not mistaken, those two buffs should stack. So yeah, I like this character. Slots are incredible. I just wish she had the ratio passive, and that's kind of like my whole deal with the entire Madoka collab, is that they're all missing just like one thing to make them insanely broken. They're all pretty broken, but none of them is just insanely broken, unless we're talking about Sayaka. Sayaka is arguably the best taunt tank in the game right now. I would personally say she is the best taunt tank in the game, due to the fact that she is able to give herself so many buffs once she's near death, kind of something like Gamagori. But not only are these buffs to herself, it's to the entire team. She's more of a party-wide Gamagori, but the lower HP you're on, you're able to give your entire team more attack and physical damage. Not to mention, by default, you give all female allies 4 art gauge, but if you're near death, all female allies instead get 6 arts per second, and this is a passive arch gen effect, meaning that it stacks with every single arch generation effect in the game. She also has a revive that's able to activate twice, not to mention she has a 4-star heal, so you can technically have, to an extent, unlimited revives if you use something like Blessed Necklace. We got crit resistance as well, and really the only thing this character is kind of missing is a way to cleanse damage res debuffs, but even then, I mean, you could just use like Firin on the team with her, you could use Madoka or something like that, and then you're gonna be fine. And if you definitely got Sayaka, be extremely happy because she is 100% the best character from this crossover. I kind of wish I got her because she is like the unit to use in the brand new difficulty for Crest Palaces. At least in the first one, let me say. She kind of just negates everything that Oldius does, which is fantastic because that boss looks like he's cracked out. That is going to be my list right there. All of the footage that I used in this video from other people will be linked down below in the description, so please go check them out and like their videos and everything. But hey, you guys let me know down below in the comment section how you all feel about this crossover. Did you like it? Did you not? Me, myself, I was just very uninterested in it, so I'm not really going to be all that excited. But hey, you guys let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. Oh, and one more thing before you all leave, don't forget to drink water.